This is audio soundbite 5. Chicago Alderman Anthony Napolitano. And I was very amazed at, well, I'm sure you heard at this point that police officers turned their back on the Chicago mayor. And this was after the murder of 29-year-old officer Ella French, who didn't she just get back from maternity leave? Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm sick. Listen to this alderman from Chicago.
These officers are doing their job every day of the week and twice on Sunday, and they're villainized on the street, and they're treated as the enemy. And this is wrong. This is not how it's supposed to be. In the city of Chicago, and voters better wake up right now for who they're putting in office, because we are losing this city.
Yeah, they're losing the city. They're losing the city. Oof. This story is heartbreaking to me. It was a traffic stop, and this officer was shot and killed. Traffic stops are so dangerous. Regular traffic stops are so dangerous. And this is one of the things, especially where if, younger officers, and I've heard this, we've had family members that have actually, and close friends of our family that are in serving their communities as a police officer or had retired from the force. And I always heard that growing up, that, oh man, those are the most dangerous things. And I'm like, how is it though? And then as I got older and I was watching Cops, because that was my favorite show. I mean, little junior high and high school Dana's watching Cops every Friday night. It was on Friday night forever. And then I started seeing these videos of how difficult it was. I mean, imagine yourself in that situation. I mean, you can have a ton of training, but you're still dealing with a bunch of unknowns. And I mean, they arrested these two brothers, 21 and 22. They were out on probation, charged with murder of 29-year-old Ella French. No one's going to say her name. There's not going to be any moments of silence for this officer. Just awful. Absolutely awful. And what happened was they were driving with expired plates. That's why they got pulled over. And she was shot and killed. It's sickening. It makes me so sad. And the family is heartbroken. You're going to have a baby that's going to grow up and not know its mom, not know his or her mother. Now, Chicago cops, they're done. They turned their back on Lori Lightfoot. She came to the hospital for a wounded officer, and they all, a whole line of them, and there's photos, turned their back to her. She visited the hospital where the surviving cop at this traffic, where the surviving cop was getting treatment, critical condition. His partner was Ella French, who had been killed. And this was at Chicago Medical Center. Chicago Sun-Times had the story. They said nearly 30 officers, Chicago Police Department officers, accompanied by the critically injured male officer's family in the waiting area on the 7th floor, all turned their backs to her side by side. Now, the surviving officer in critical condition, his father is a retired police officer. And he went off on her. Yelled at her. And she listened to what he said. He yelled at her. She tried to move things along. She tried to talk to the crowd, and they turned their backs on her mid-remark. It is powerful. There's another picture from the Police Benevolence Association, New York City. And it showed, a couple hundred officers outside of that hospital in Chicago, all with their police vests on, side by side. It said Chicago police officers packed in patch to patch, following the shooting that killed their sister and critically wounded their brother. I'm going to tell you something. I think that these politicians, I think that their treatment was courteous. I do, considering. you have a lot of these historically Democrat-run cities where they are lighter on the criminals and more restrictive of the law-abiding. I mean, the fact that, there's so many stories where you have people who have been out, like these two individuals that killed this cop. They were on probation. Have you read about their records? I mean, getting the bare minimum, having other felony charges in previous instances dropped. It's sad to me. 29 years old.